at least 5 members on the committee. 3 must be present on the ground at all times. So if you're running a trial Saturday and Sunday, say if you got 6 people on the committee, 3 of them could be there Saturday, 3 different ones could be there Sunday, just as long as 3 of the people of the committee are there at all times. You must have a committee chairman, must have a secretary. Each person should have a rule book. These people, this field trial committee has full charge of the organization and management of the trial. They must always be ready to hold a misconduct hearing. They must have a pre-meeting the night before the trial, be aware of where this misconduct meeting is going to be held, if there's going to be one. Be ready for it. Be ready for it. We talked about what is misconduct, profane, obscene demonstration, dissatisfaction with the judge's decision, including refusal to accept a ribbon or throwing a ribbon on the ground. Anybody comes up there, you know, and gets second place, and he's just all excited about it because they thought he beat the first place dog, and you know, he throws the ribbon on the ground, walks out, and says, "I'll, you know, all heated, and I'll never come back to another field trial," and you know, he hired a bunch of SOBs for judges, and just walks out. And immediately you got to take appropriate action and hold your misconduct hearing. That is misconduct. We just cannot have that type of thing happening at field trials. Altercation with officials, other competitor entries, or spectators. You know, argument out in the parking lot over the merits of dogs, amongst other spectators. You cannot allow that. Use of or foul language in public, under the influence of alcohol, mistreatment of a dog. You cannot allow mistreatment of a dog in competition. In a licensed trial, the committee must suspend a person found guilty of misconduct. Must suspend that person. The field trial committee has the power to suspend that person at a licensed trial only. Does not have that power at a sanctioned trial. CHB qualifying trial, Derby qualifying trial, state championship trial, those sanctioned trials, they don't have the power to suspend. They collect evidence, they hold a hearing, and they send all the information into AKC. And at a licensed trial, the field trial committee has the power to suspend. Have the power to suspend. If the man is found guilty, they suspend him. No in between. They don't find him guilty and recommend that AKC do something about it. Guilt and suspension are one and the same at a licensed trial. One and the same. Field trial committee determines if a bitch is in season or not, never the judges. Most important, because we get out there in competition running the dogs, and it's just so easy for the judges to be asked to make that determination, because the judges are making a lot of decisions out there. But never allow the judges to make that decision. As a judge, never get talked into making that decision. Always put it back on the shoulders of the field trial committee, even though if they have to go back a quarter mile, half a mile back to get those people in that field trial committee. Do it. Put those people to work. We talked about roving marshals. We said that they shall assist the judges and supervise the handlers. Supervise the handlers. Key word. You must supervise the handlers. They are the supervisors. Must be identified with a badge or armband colored vest. Fires the gun in small pack option trucks. We talked about the split. Because that happens many times in our pack running. The 2 hounds going one way, 4 hounds going the other way. The judges relay the information to the roving marshal, which dogs they want to follow in competition. The roving marshal informs the handlers. The handlers have 5 minutes to get their hounds in the running. The roving marshal can advise and assist those handlers in getting those hounds in the running. I'm a handler, and I see what's going on up in front, and my number 10 dog is off, going off this way, and the other dogs are going off that way, and I see a split has taken place, or at least the evidence of a split taking place, although I never saw the rabbit. As a handler, what do?
Nothing.
I wait for what? Instructions from the roving marshal. Wait for instructions from the roving marshal, who will advise and assist me and get my hound number 10 into the path. Always wait for instructions from the roving marshal. And split. He also fires the gun in small pack option trials. Field judges are not required to obtain a license. They don't carry around a license in their pocket to judge beagles. They're not required to obtain that license. They can be anybody that the club recommends to AKC that AKC approves. Must get approval from AKC. The club recommends you to judge a licensed trial. They send your name into AKC to get approval from AKC. AKC will approve it as long as you're 18 years of old, not an officer of the club, not a member of the field trial committee, and you have taken the seminar test and have received a passing grade. You will then sign a statement to the fact that you have thorough knowledge of the rules. Any questions on the qualifications of a field judge who can judge our trials? We talked about starters. We said that a starter, in order for a hound to be a starter, must be entered, eligible, cast, not disqualified, and not measured out. And we talked about the fact that we was running the second pack, and hound number 10 was entered, was cast, got off on a fox, could not be found in time to get in with the running of the other dogs. And the question is, in the minds of the judge, we will certify the number of starters, whether or not the hound is entered, is an entry and a starter, or just an entry. In that particular case, what would it be? Be an entry and a starter. Entered and started. In the other example we gave, we run in the third pack and we call for hound number 15 along with the other hounds, and hound number 15 does not appear. Does not appear when we call for his pack. For whatever reason, he's back in the clubhouse, or he's got a dog in another class and he thought somebody else was going to handle 15 for him, or he thought he was going to get done in time because the other class is running across the road, and you know, it just got away from him. He just didn't realize that the competition was going to move along, so he's not there with hound number 15. And they put the clock on him, the judges put the clock on him, only the judges put the clock on him, only the judges, and they clock him out after 15 minutes. He's an entry. Was he a starter? No. He's not a starter. He's an entry only, not a starter. Not disqualified, not measured out. We got the situation where the bitch in season. Later on in the trial, we find out that she was in season, and they disqualified her. She is not a starter. The other question that always comes up is when we measure hounds for possible use in winner's pack. And we measure hound number 10, and it measures out. Even though we had 60 hounds in that class, and the winning hound, you know, could have been a better hound than this hound that we measured out. The winning hound does not get a point for that hound that measured out. The hound that measured out is not a starter. Entered, not a starter. Any questions on starters? Who certifies the number of starters?
Judges.
Judges certify the number of starters. Measuring. We talked about the importance of measuring. The field judges for the class the hound was entered into do the measuring. It's very important that we follow that procedure. Sanctioned trials, it is a rule for sanctioned trials. Most important that we follow it, so when we go into licensed trials, we follow it. Get the practice of following that sanctioned trials, and for the licensed trial, we automatically always remember that the judges for the hound that was entered into do the measuring. Not some other judges and not some other people. You only measure one time at a trial. If it was pre-measured by the 15-inch judges and it measured small, so then it can be entered in the 13-inch class, and that measurement is accepted by the 13-inch judges. The 13-inch judges have no right to re-measure the dog. Measured one time at a trial, one time only. What is my options as a handler, as an owner of the dog, when I enter that 15-inch class and ask for pre-measurement and it measures in the 13-inch class? What are my options? I could have my entry